Welcome. Today's issue is one of the closest issues I have to my heart. Today's issue is how do we as individuals contribute to a corrupt medical system. I must clarify that this is not a dig at the medical system. I revere the system, I value the system, and I'm here to just point out not what they are doing wrong, but how are we ourselves contributing to corruption. One of the most important things that we need to understand as part of modern culture is that we have created a hodgepodge out of human consciousness. Human consciousness, individual consciousness, just individual consciousness is a complex phenomenon. It is layered, it is multidimensional, it is functioning at various levels at the same time. Our mind, our heart, our gut, our wisdom of the body, there are different wisdoms in the body. The immune system is working differently than the endocrine system. Endocrine is working differently than the neurological system. And all these systems come together to synthesize, to create a symphony. Similarly, our mind, the heart's wisdom, the gut's wisdom, our brain, the intelligence, they all come together to create a symphony. This does not mean that we are just one entity. This does not mean that we are one simple organism that can be dissected and treated with just one stroke of diagnosis. We are complex beings. We function at multidimensional layers simultaneously. And this needs to be treated simultaneously by different people. How have we contributed to a corrupt medical system? In last 100 years, the medical system slowly gained a lot of importance. There was a lot of propaganda behind it. There was a lot of putting the traditional systems at shame behind it. And there was a lot of fear of death, fear of disease, fear of losing, that created this importance. However, this importance did get created. And what happened in the process was that someone, a medical doctor who was trained to treat a particular piece, a particular section of our body, the physicality of it, we entrusted that person, or we burdened that person, that individual, with our psychological, emotional, physiological, and spiritual needs too. Now when someone has arthritis and you go to a doctor, arthritis has emotional reasons behind it, karmic reasons behind it, psychological reasons behind it before there is a physical manifestation. When you go and pop a couple of pills to suppress your arthritis, what are we doing to our bodies? But most importantly, what are we doing to the doctor? The one who is supposed to treat arthritis, he or she is right in their field, but we are not treating our emotions, we are not treating our life circumstances, we are not correcting our lifestyle, we are not unburdening, uncluttering ourselves. Instead, we go to a person, we call that person a doctor, who is specializing only in the physicality, and we burden this doctor with treating us psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. Not only have I witnessed certain medical practitioners wanting to butcher patients for the sake of money. I have also witnessed the other side, where patients are butchering the doctors by burdening them with what could or should be done by others. Coming back to the complexity of human consciousness. Human consciousness, let's simplify it. Let's simplify this complex phenomenon. Let's put it into few categories. Just you and me, just me as a human consciousness, I would say that I can be divided into 5 or 6 categories. Let's give examples. When, for example, someone's bone breaks, the wisest thing to do would be to immediately rush the person to an orthopedician. At that point of time, an energy healer or a psychiatrist, a physiotherapist, a counselor, a consciousness worker, all these people should not be given the priority. The priority should be given to a medical practitioner, to a doctor, who can set the bone. It is either this, or equally respect any traditional systems, because they are equally important, which are trusted, which are certified, which are practicing over a long period of time, and hence you know that they are the right systems. If you have any such alternative systems, you can also go there to set your bone first. This is a medical emergency. When a head is broken, when there is a sudden rise in the blood pressure, when a bone is broken, when there is a wound, you need to go to a medical doctor. This is a medical emergency. But then, let's take the example of arthritis. Over a period of time, at a certain age, it can be at any age, but we have noticed that at a certain age, arthritis develops, first especially in the knees or in the fingers. Why does it develop? There is an emotional reason behind it. There is a psychological reason behind it, especially when one develops the arthritis of knees. That is the fear of movement, fear of future. What's going to happen in the future? You feel incomplete, you feel incompetent to deal with the future. And hence that energy block gets stuck in the knees, and that shows up, manifests itself as arthritis. You can go to a medical doctor for treatment, but please complement it with energy healing work. There are phenomenal energy healers all across the world. In any field, you will find people who are phenomenally gifted, and you will find idiots. It's your job to find out who is an idiot and who is a gifted person. You will not, just because it is an energy healing field, just because it is the field of depth, of subtle energies, doesn't mean that we don't have idiots in this field. We have them. But there are more gifted people in this field. There are more skillful, phenomenally skillful people who perform miracles literally in minutes, in seconds. They help people. And they have come to the stage of being able to help others because they have themselves gone through a healing journey. They themselves went through these issues, they released them, they healed them, and so there is a note of authenticity there. This is why they can empathize with you, this is why they know what to do with you. Or they are open and present enough to receive the universal intelligence and see how it can not only just heal you, but heal themselves as well. So for arthritis, I would recommend that you go to an energy healer, get your emotional clutter decluttered, and complement it with alternative medicine. If that does not work for you at all, if Ayurveda, homeopathy, Bach therapy, Bach flower therapy, or any such thing does not work for you at all, then you can resort to an emergency medicine, which is allopathy. The third type of category that I would talk about is depression. Now, there are a lot of people afflicted by depression. And what does depression mean? For many people, for different people, it means different things. But there is in general, there is a sense of sinking. That you have probably everything going right, that you have a beautiful crowded room where you are partying, but right in the middle of that partying, you have a sense of sinking. You have a sense of unbelonging. You have a sense of as if something is eating you out. There is something that is creating great disturbance into your being. Everybody goes through different stages of depression in life. Some of these stages are serious, some of them are not. Say, for example, we are talking about the non-serious stage. The non-serious stage requires you to go to an energy healer, declutter not only your emotional system, go to someone who is also doing consciousness work apart from energy healing. What is energy healing? Energy healing are different systems where you use your hands to channelize life force. And what is consciousness work? Consciousness work is where you're dealing with the psychological, emotional, karmic, subtle entanglements, quantum entanglements. These are subtle entanglements which can be completely decoded, finished, removed and cleared so that your thought pattern, your mind pattern is released. When that is released, it will percolate into your physical, mental body, it will percolate into your physical body and the disease will leave. So I would say that go to an energy healer who will touch your body, pass on the life force. At the same time, go to a consciousness worker, and if you are lucky, you have one person who has consciousness worker, who is a consciousness worker and is an energy healer, both very capably, then get yourself treated by that person and the alternative medicine, it will work. Consciousness worker in depression is far more important than anything else, because here what you need to do is unclutter yourself. There are quantum entanglements, there are emotional blockages, there are karmic blockages, there are knots inside our system that need to be released for the energy to flow, for the genius that you are to flow. And once you flow, everything else changes. So depression does not require you to immediately go to a psychiatrist and get yourself a medicine, get yourself pills, antidepressants. No, it requires you to provide your energy with the life force and declutter your entire being, including your subtle body, which is most important. Now, if you have behavioral issues, that means you see someone who is behaving badly. There is aggression, and aggression has reached to a point where that person is beating someone else or is cutting themselves up or is doing anything destructive. This means there is chemical imbalance in the brain. This is where a psychiatrist will step in. You need to go to a psychiatrist here. You can complement this treatment from a psychiatrist with energy healing and consciousness work. This is very important because every human being functions at different layers. Every individual human consciousness or our consciousness, individual consciousness, functions at different layers. If you're complementing each layer, if you're supporting each layer, your work will become quantum. You will not be dependent on a pill. You will release the root cause while you're supporting the chemical imbalance. You're supporting your body to release the chemical imbalance. Together, it creates phenomenal work. Then there is another category called ranting, where you just need to speak out. There's something bothering you. These are small things like your boss is bothering you, or your best friend is acting up, or your boyfriend is not good, or your husband is doing something that doesn't go. You don't gel with your husband or whatever. Your mother is irritating you. This is ranting. This is ranting, but at the same time, it's deep enough. There are issues that are causing you problem. And these issues need to be dealt with. So you need motivation, you need inspiration, and you need some pragmatic psychological steps that can sort you out. This is where a counselor, a psychotherapist, these kind of, or even an energy healer who is into counseling can step in. Last but not the least would be the category of inner seeking. You know, when you have everything in life, or you don't have everything in life, in both cases, there's this inner thirst, an emptiness, a seeking of something larger than what is going on. You know that there is a higher calling. You know that there is a bigger purpose to life. And you know that this purpose needs to be fulfilled, and you are seeking the ways, you're seeking bigger answers. You are wanting to collaborate with the universe. You're wanting to go beyond yourself, beyond your conditioning. This is where you require a spiritual guru. This is where you require someone who will decondition you at a level that is beyond logic. So these are various categories. And by trying to focus only on one person, by trying to take these categories and putting it on one medical doctor and asking that medical doctor to prescribe you with a pill that can take away all these issues or some of them, is how we are contributing to corruption of the medical system. And it is time that we look into it, that how are we contributing to it, how am I contributing to it, and how can I change it? How do you recognize a good practitioner? How do you recognize someone who is genuine? This is something we can discuss some other time. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked my sharing. This video will be available on my YouTube channel, Naval Consciousness. You can subscribe to it to get notifications. I do a Facebook Live every Saturday, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Would love to have you join me or watch the video some other time. How can I assist you? I'm an energy healer. I'm a consciousness worker. I provide a little bit of spiritual answers too. So all this channelizes through workshops and sessions with me, Naval Consciousness workshops and sessions with me. If you require my assistance, if you resonate with me, if we are in the same resonance field, reach out. Go to my website, navalconsciousness.com, and I hope to see you someday if we are in the same resonance field, if we have to contribute to each other. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for joining me. Sending you a big wave of love and light.